to potential harm, that people are switching over from the substances that they were using to what they deem as a safe or risk-free alternative. And so having to do an additional test for that specific alkaloid is going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars just because of that additional test. In regards to the testing that I do through my office, just a standard autopsy alone costs well over $3,000, and we've had to, in all of our kratom related deaths, go to autopsy. And so we're looking there at tens of thousands of dollars that are potentially being spent just in my county trying to identify this kratom product in decedents.
Representative Furman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Coroner Sanchez, I think you've probably already answered this, but it's already been a long day. Could you summarize?
And it's only your first question.
Yeah, I know. We're just getting started. Could you summarize for me again, just because this seems to be where the argument is going, why should we support a complete ban on all forms of kratom versus doing what perhaps Utah's done and allow the natural leaf but ban the 708? Can you just summarize in your professional opinion why you feel like that's the direction we should be going?
Sanchez.
Yeah, so like I said, by putting just restrictions on it, we are generating this idea that the natural or the pure is still a safe baseline for people to continue to use. And ultimately, that isn't the case when in all of my investigations, I have not seen any signs of the concentration, even with a high rate of the substance in their system. It has all been tied back to the pure leaf powdered kratom. And therefore, I really truly believe that there needs to be additional testing and more regulation as a whole. And until we can get to that point where this regulation can be safe and is FDA approved, then I believe a total ban needs to happen.
Committee not seeing any other questions. Thank you for your testimony. Next up
Thank you.
is Brianna Bodie in person. She in the other room? Yeah, if she is, if you could have her come here, but at the meantime, we will go to Samuel Holtz in person. Please state your name, and it's obviously who you represent.
Chairman, I'm Sam Holtz. I'm the current Bonneville County Sheriff. I'm happy to be here today in front of this committee to represent the Bonneville County Sheriff's Office and also the Idaho Sheriff's Association. I have 34 years of experience as a law enforcement official in Idaho. I'm a fifth-generation Idahoan. I've got 6 years as the sheriff. And some of that included training as a narcotics investigator and investigating narcotics crimes for 5 years in the county. With kratom, what we're seeing now is this creep into the schools. So I was talking with my SROs on the drive over here and asking them what they're starting to see. Just as Coroner Sanchez mentioned, we're seeing this stuff sold within walking distance of our high schools. It is not regulated, and kids are getting their hands on it. Additionally, if you go online and look, you can see these products are starting to be marketed to younger kids. There's examples out there of these products being concentrated, and you're seeing things like gummies in flavors such as Big Juicy Happy Rancher and Red Apple and Cherry Berry. That's the current state of affairs. And as we look at that and the dangerousness of kratom and the deaths that have been spoken about, just realize that when you look at a Schedule I drug, what does that mean? Well, it means that it has no identifiable medical use. Kratom matches that. And it means that it has a high potential for addiction. Kratom matches that. Idaho has a really strong stance against hard drugs in our communities, and that's a blessing to us. We keep a lot of nonsense out of our communities because of our trafficking statutes and the different things that we have. It is obvious to me that the right thing to do with Kratom for Idaho is to say not here. You can't have that product here in our state because it is harming our kids and it's harming a lot of people around the country. So I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak here, and thank you for your time.
Okay. Representative Wheeler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sheriff Hulse, appreciate you making the trip over here and to speak on this issue. Can you help me just understand a little further? So if kids have the product right now, what can your deputies or SROs do?
Nothing. I mean, we can talk to them and we can say, sorry, Chairman.
Yes.
I apologize.
I thought at
apologize.
least
I should have caught the
law,
lesson.
I thought at least law enforcement would know how to
I
follow
would have
the
done
rules.
better, yeah. Sorry, I know him too well, so.
Well,
I apologize, Mr. Chair.
yeah. Mr. Olds.
Go ahead, okay. all right.
Sheriff.
The truth is, our hands are tied to a great deal on this. Matter of fact, I was talking with my SRO sergeant as I was driving over here, and he was having meetings this week with some of the school administration speaking about this problem because they can put certain sanctions in place on the kids. They can throw them out of school for having the product in the school, issues like that. But ultimately, that is not a chargeable offense currently. And so that's the part of the issue here.
Representative Furman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Two.
Well, I get two per testifier, right? Yeah. Sheriff Hulse, thanks for making the trip. You said you've been in law enforcement for 32 years.
34.
34, okay. You've probably seen, you mentioned creep. I'm really curious about that. You've seen probably effects of marijuana, effects of vaping, and how things that seem to be harmless are good for certain groups, but then they tend to creep into other groups. Can you elaborate more on that, help me better understand what fears you might have or what patterns and similar things you see happening with Kratom?
Sheriff Hulse.
Representative Furman, this is just another drug on a long onslaught that we've had in our communities, more than I can keep count of. We are in the throes of a third opiate tragedy in our communities, right? So we know that with OxyContin and everything that came from that, we have really strong opiate abuse in our community. What does that look like? Well, 82% of our jail, the last time we ran the statistic on this about 2 years ago, 82% of our jail population was opiate addicted inside the jail. So that's the level of problem that we're dealing with. And we are on the front lines of fighting that back. And I recognize there's several people here that talk about chronic pain. I can't imagine what it's like to live with that, but here's the issue. Opiates are not safe, and this product, which is an alkaloid that acts like an opiate, is targeting those same receptors in the brain. And we know that those drugs are highly dangerous, and there's a lot of things that come from that. And a lot of the other opiates have been tested, and we know what happens with those products, and we have medical research on those. We don't have that with Kratom. And so there's a lot of things going on there that we don't know what it cross-connects with. We don't know what, if you have a different prescription drug in your system, what that's going to do. And so that's part of the problem. And then additionally, what are we messaging to our kids? Consistently, marijuana is not bad. We see psychotic breaks in young kids with their first marijuana use, especially in the concentrated forms. And so now it's not just the plant that we're seeing in the schools, but we're seeing the concentrated THC vapors, vape products that are being placed inside illicit vapes that are being shipped into our country from China. So when I talk about creep, we're losing this battle. We're losing this battle, and we're losing it with the most important group, which is our kids. And what kind of message do we send when we say, oh, it's okay, you guys can take all this stuff? No, we should be saying, look, this stuff is not safe, it's not healthy, and for young kids, it's really detrimental. So that's the creep I speak about. And so when we as citizens take on, oh, it's okay, that drug's fine, it's not gonna hurt you, when we know, just as the coroner said, that we can't say that, so then, okay, we're gonna regulate it. Okay, you're going to regulate it. That's going to take a lot of additional resources, time to figure out. the right answer for this drug is Schedule 1 right now. From there, we can see where it goes, but that helps protect Idaho today. Does that answer your question?
Representative Levitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Sheriff. Is there something about the natural plant itself that law enforcement cannot manage, even with the more targeted laws?
Sheriff Holz.
Chairman, Representative Levitt, if I could maybe ask a clarifying question. Could you say manage as far as just the natural plant that's currently out there?
Correct,
Or
not the synthetic, but the natural.
Right now, there are no regulations, so it's not unlawful to possess or to sell. And you can walk into many convenience stores in Bonneville County and/or vape shops and purchase that. Now, we've heard some of the vape shops talk about, or some of the other businesses talk about how they're putting in their own protections, but absent them doing the right thing, it's going to get into kids' hands quite easily currently. So, and if it's more restricted, then obviously it's not going to be out there for sale in your local gas station like it is right now.
Thank you.
Representative Beiswinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick question. I guess so, if you have someone gets Kratom and it's on Schedule 1, like what do you think the punishment should be?
Sheriff Holz.
Well, Mr. Chair and Representative Beiswinger, I would lean on the committee to decide those initial penalties, but obviously it would have to be in conjunction with a Schedule 1 drug, so it would be a serious penalty. I think, your first offense, depending on the weights, you could possibly look at misdemeanor, but what would be appropriate would be a felony level dealing with that. And again, we have to drag addiction out into the light. It's about healing the addiction in our communities, and we have to have consequences to go along with our compassion. Misplaced compassion is what's destroying a lot of our nation. Does that answer your question, sir? Yeah.
Thank you. Not seeing any further questions. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
I believe Brianna Bodie is now standing there in the back, so if you'll have your time and state who you represent, time is yours.
Good morning and thank you for your time today. My name is Brianna Bodie and I am a resident of Boise, Idaho. I'm here to speak in support of responsible kratom regulation and in opposition to a full ban. This issue is deeply personal to me. My father is a military veteran who served our country for over 20 years. During his service, he suffered multiple back injuries and he was prescribed heavy opioid medications to manage his pain. Over time, these prescriptions took a serious toll on his life. When he found kratom as an alternative, everything changed. He was able to step away from opioids and regain stability, independence, and a quality of life. Today, he is living a full, functional life without the burden of these medications. I can confidently say I don't know where my father or my family would be without that alternative. But this conversation is not just personal, it's also economic. Kratom supports jobs across Idaho, from retail employees to distributions and small businesses. These are Idaho workers, Idaho families, and Idaho tax dollars contributing directly to our state's economy. A ban would not only impact consumers, but also eliminate jobs and reduce tax revenue that supports our communities. I want to be very clear, I am not here arguing for lack of oversight. I strongly support stricter guidelines, clear regulation, and consumer education. Idaho has the opportunity to implement a responsible framework, including product testing, labeling requirements, and age restrictions. That protects consumers while preserving access to adults who rely on it. We have seen time and time again that prohibition does not eliminate demand. It pushes it to unregulated and potentially dangerous markets. We can do better than that. Bans don't solve problems, they create new ones. Let's keep Idaho our Idaho through smart, responsible policy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. For anybody testifying, her name's not Samuel. It's Brianna, but this is the only way we'd get the 2-minute clock up. So we didn't allow the sheriff to testify twice. So, committee, any questions for Brianna? Not seeing any. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Next up is Tremaine Arnold. in person. Please state your name and who you represent.
Tremaine Arnold, President of Capital Distributing, Chairman Bandawara, and honorable representatives. The primary benefit of natural kratom is pain relief. We should allow responsible adults to make their own decisions regarding pain relief. Over-the-counter medications such as Tylenol and ibuprofen, as innocuous they may seem, have side effects and are still being studied and evaluated. Victims of cancer, chronic diseases, and chronic pain should have options. Without options, people turn to street narcotics and opioids, especially synthetic, enhanced opioids like fentanyl-laced pills. Synthetic opioids are responsible for most overdose deaths in Idaho. Making natural kratom illegal would help prop up the unregulated internet black market of synthetics. A ban would drive consumers to illicit foreign-made products that are unsafe with artificially elevated levels of synthetic 7-OH. Capital Distributing operates in 9 western states. We have seen problems with other neighboring states that have banned or overregulated previously legal products. Laws that ban widely used products don't work. Consumers have been introduced to a product, natural kratom, that works for them, and they're going to keep using it. A ban would drive those consumers to the internet and to unscrupulous dealers where unregulated dangerous products can be bought. Banned product can still be found in those states, only hurting responsible local businesses and consumers that want to follow the law. We support legislation that protects adult access to non-synthetic, unadulterated, naturally derived kratom through licensed distributors and retailers. Thank you.
Committee, any questions? Not saying any. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Committee, we are at a crossroads of, we're in the middle of page 2 of 8. Not all 8 are this issue. Discussion, have we heard enough testimony? Do we want to continue to another day? And I'm kind of opening that up and also to hear from the sponsors on that. Representative Rubel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess personally, I would very much like to hear more testimony, but in particular, I'd like to hear from healthcare providers. I think there's a lot of medical stuff here we need to parse through and information about what studies have been done by the FDA and what the results have been. I feel like I need a lot more information in that regard to make an informed decision. So I don't know if they can be prioritized now or if we can carry over testimony, but that would be my preference.
Okay. And committee, I have not selected arbitrarily. I've just gone down the list. Whoever signed up first is ones that we've gone down. So I haven't pulled testimony in any particular direction. Representative Kaler.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honestly, didn't know much about Kratom prior to this this session, but I'm learning a little bit as we're going here, and I want to thank everybody for coming out and speaking both for and against this. But I would say that it would probably be good to get some more input, you know, proponents both for and against, so I would be open to more testimony moving forward.
Okay. Representative Furman.
Mr. Chairman, I agree. As much as I hate to ask people to come back, there are a few things this session I've heard more about. So I think it'd be good and wise for us to take another day.
So with that in mind, we will schedule tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow from 8 to 9, we will limit that to 8 to 9 and continue the testimony if that's okay with the sponsors. They said that's okay, so we will start at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Representative Furman.
Question, Mr. Chairman. To Representative Rebel's point, is it possible for you, since we'll only be using an hour time, to be more specific about who testifies, that we can hear from more who are available that might be in the experts?
I don't think so. I think it's still, the safest way for me to go is just go down the list and not pick and choose who I have testify. And that's what I've done so far today. I've had people give me a list of people that they think I would like to call up, but I'm just going down the list. Representative Wheeler.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just get a little clarity. I think I want the record to reflect that I disagree with Representative Furman, and I would be fine to be done with testimony at this point. But I just want to make sure, like, we won't necessarily have additional people able to testify tomorrow. It'll just be the list that you have now.
It'll continue on the list I have now to who's ever present. Some of them may have been here in person and may not be able to make it tomorrow, but I will continue on the list of everybody who signed up today to go down that list as far as we can go and then cut it off at 9 o'clock. So it all depends on how many questions you want to ask the sponsors or the testifiers to how many of them we get up there. And so with that, committee, we are due up on the floor at 10:30. Any closing comments from the sponsor, or you're okay with where we're headed? So with that, committee, we are adjourned.
Okay, so looks like they're
Yeah, at least like people don't have to do like a whole wait a whole week.
yeah,
Like it's just the next day.
yeah.
Well, are we
Yeah, for some odd reason we had technical difficulties during the first stream and we were like,
Yeah, it's like it came on the stream and it was like, yeah, your live is going to be ending. I'm like, what the heck?
yeah, that has never happened before.
I don't know. I'm sick of Restream. I'm thinking about trying Streamlabs.
Yep, so it looks like they're gonna continue the conversation tomorrow, which I think is good. I think
I
it's
do
always good that they want to gather more information. I really do.
And just like the whole point of them, like the whole fact of them wanting to hear both sides of it again and continue, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, he was. Like, who, like I said, who the hell is selling it to the kids?
Yeah.
Who the hell, what parent is not parenting their kid?
Well, and then it's like, he's pretty much saying, yeah, you should all just go to jail. First time's a misdemeanor, second time's a felony?
Yeah.
For trying to manage chronic pain? Fucking really?
Like, are you freaking, yeah. Like, y'all know Marshall Price's story, right? You know Shayna Brown's story, right? Two innocent people who were just living their lives.
And I mean, at the end of the day, that's all Kratom consumers want. That's all we want to do is just live our life, be left alone. But it's like, we got to fight every day. Like every day. It's insane. But Laura did awesome.
She did amazing.
Yeah.
So did Tina. And, just all the pro people that were there, they did amazing. And that corner that was up there, there was a lot of things that she left out. A lot of things.
Yep. Well, I love how they called her out. That one lady called her out on it. But, that's just another example of I found it on scene, so it equates to cause of death.
She didn't have any plant material in her stomach contents. None. So.
Well.
All right, we got to get ready for the next hearing.
Yeah. Oh, what is Ohio? Is
I
that
believe
not already?
Yeah, I was just looking over here because we got a day packed of hearings.
Yeah, I think I know it starts at 11:30. So it starts. So we're gonna leave, but we're gonna go to another link thingy.
Yeah, another link. So you guys just watch out for the stream.
Yeah, we're going to live stream in Tennessee.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, we're live stream in Tennessee.
Yep. Hey, we got to see the X comment.
Yeah.
Normally we don't see. Normally we don't see the X comments for some reason. So.
That's crazy. I don't know. It's like it's so hit or miss with Restream. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
Hey,
yes,
John.
we're gonna do Arizona as well. I got all the links. So we got Ohio coming up, and then Tennessee, then Arizona.
Dude, Keith, you're such a powerhouse, man. I love how you always fit us in.
I would have loved to have had you as my teacher growing up.
I know.
swear.
You have to be the most chillest teacher.
I know. But hey, guess who didn't wake up with a hangover today? Because I don't drink alcohol anymore.
That's
Me.
right. Because that St. Patty's Day is just an excuse to get trashed in the middle of the week.
Yep, exactly.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Well, we'll be
We'll end
back.
this one, and then y'all be on the lookout for Ohio coming up. So
Yeah.
get ready for that one because it's opponent testimony.
And I will say, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about it. Because I'm not missing Tennessee. So
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, oh yeah, because they might. They
yeah,
might
we can
be going
switch
at the same
between
time.
the two or something. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened a couple weeks ago when you were first in Tennessee. You know,
Yeah.
Ohio started and then Tennessee started. I was like, dang it.
I'm like, just focus on Ohio.
Yeah.
A+. Oh yeah. All right, guys. We'll be back.
Okay. Bye, everybody.